And with that, we bring on Jim Jackson. It was a wild day of overreaction yesterday as Boogie Cousins signed on with the Warriors. And Jimmy, 14 years in the NBA, people freaked out.
Right.
What was your initial reaction?
I was surprised by how it went down. Not the fact that, okay, he signed, but you're talking about a 25, 13, and 5 guy. All-star. No phone calls. Nothing. You talking about reality check? Colin, that is like, best way to describe it, you're on top of the mountain in regards to where you may be in your career. You've proven yourself, but now all of a sudden, because of injury, because of past, I would say, transgressions brought upon by yourself, now you're going to free agency and nobody calls. Nobody picks up the phone.
I'm not shocked by it. You know why? Because New Orleans swept Portland. And I think people looked at that and went, I think people looked at that and went, they're better without him.
Yeah, they are. And, I think, too, what he was looking for was a little bit more security in regards to longer-term deals, where maybe some of the teams he was talking to was like, well, a one-year deal, you got to prove yourself. But I do think this, though. I think as a player like that, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, who do I want to be? And I thought DeMarcus did a great job of really maturing in New Orleans. Think about it from the DeMarcus we saw in Sacramento to what we saw in New Orleans, a different player in regards to personality-wise. We didn't see a lot of the outbursts. Sometimes on the court, because he's competitive, he's going to do that. But we didn't hear about a lot of the locker room stuff that maybe we heard in Sacramento. And this could be, for him, what he needs.
This is exactly what it is. See, I have no problem. My biggest problem is when the Yankees could just pay more money for players.
Right.
That's not good for a sport. Golden State's become the Patriots. Good players. Randy Moss, who maybe needs to resurrect his image, goes, I'm going to go to New England, play for about a year, resurrect my image with Tom Brady, and then he eventually becomes Randy Moss a little, and he leaves.
Yeah.
That's all Boogie Cousins is doing. It's like he is the Randy Moss. Super talented, all-star level, people in awe, been a problem. Go to Golden State, resurrect your image. He's not going to play till probably February or March. I don't think he's there 2-3 years. I think he's done in a year.
Well, think about this. 2019, Clay is up, Draymond is up, and also Kevin Durant is up.
Thank you.
And then Boogie is a free agent. So you know that the priority is those other three. So for Boogie, you got a chance to play half a season, potentially get a championship, resurrect your career in who you are, have people look at you differently.
It's a talent league, man. If you go and have 2 big playoff games.
That's all he needs.
That's it.
Now, see, the question is going to be, too, when he comes back. We've seen this with Golden State and Steve Kerr because of matchups. At times, he couldn't play JaVale McGee.
That's right.
So it's going to be some times in the playoffs, he's healthy and back playing, that maybe his minutes are reduced. How does he handle that? Okay, it's great when you're playing, okay? I want to compete for a championship. But that's going to be the test, and I think the marker for him moving forward. How he handles that situation when he's not playing a lot of minutes.
Let's shift to LeBron and the Lakers. He's here. Yesterday, they make a series of moves that many see are head-scratching. Rondo's trouble. He's a Laker. Lance Stephenson's kooky. He's a Laker. JaVale McGee's weird. He's a Laker. How did those moves land for you?
Short term. Because LeBron James committed to at least 3 years. Because I say 3 because he can opt out of his deal after 3, even though it's a 4-year contract. He's given them the leeway to say, we know that probably in the first year we're not going to win a championship, but we're going to set the groundwork to win a championship in year 2.
Which is a bunch of one-year deals that we can get out of next year and make a huge bid for Klay Thompson or Kawhi.
Or you look at it, too, depending on what DeMarcus does this year, he's back on the table. So you got more options in 2019. And think about this. The funny thing about the West is we talk about how great it is and how competitive. But what teams are really going to push Golden State?
I think Houston's still really viable.
I like Houston, but you lose Ariza, okay? You lose Ariza. Chris Paul's going to be a year older coming off the injury. So you put the Lakers right in this situation, okay? Portland, you really don't trust. Denver, you're trying to figure out. You love Utah, okay? They're up and coming. Minnesota, question marks, okay? So as tough as the West is, the Lakers position themselves this year to make some noise. Next year is where you really look at them really taking that next step and probably edging out Houston and really pushing Golden State.
Yeah, the way I look at LeBron, he didn't win his first year in Miami. He didn't win his first year in Cleveland. He committed to 3, probably 4 years. And if he can be a viable title contender, years 2, 3, 4, win 1, you're out, you retire at 37. He's won 3 different places. The GOAT conversation comes back. Okay, so you got to tell me this. This is one of these things. So I look at Paul George and Westbrook. Everybody knows I'm rough on Westbrook.
Really?
I would say I'm fair-minded. Okay.
But he comes up in conversations sometimes he has no business with you. And you go back and you talk about Westbrook.
Okay. But I have said, Westbrook's personality, I just said this about Kobe. There's things that allows Westbrook to do and things it doesn't. He's not a social animal. He says the basketball is my best friend. But I will say this. Desperation does funny things. It makes smokers stop smoking. If you go to a doctor and you're a smoker, you're going to die. You'll quit smoking. You'll quit drinking. That's desperation, fear. The one thing I'll say about Westbrook, from the people I trust, he knew his reputation was taking a beating. He knew how crazy he looked in that Utah series. He knew he was getting a reputation as wacko Westbrook. And you know what? I think he read the page. He said he didn't know anything. He said he didn't listen. You guys all listen.
Oh, we listen.
He knew his reputation took a beating, and this is where I give Westbrook credit. He showed Paul love. And you guys are all alphas. You like to be loved.
Well, yeah, and I think also, let's back up too. I think the introduction when Paul George came in, he was very impressed with Sam Presti in the organization. That right there, I think, started to plant the seeds of maybe this would be a place I can land after my free agency. But think about it from Paul George's perspective. When it was all about L.A., it was about him going to L.A., okay? It's kind of the alpha, the superstar. If you're Paul George and you're thinking, okay, if I go to L.A. with LeBron, we crack the cheat code a little bit and maybe push Golden State, who gets the credit? Is it Paul George or is it LeBron?
LeBron.
Okay, and when stuff doesn't go right, who gets the blame?
Paul George.
Okay.
And by the way, then the Kawhi story breaks. Now he's a third wheel in L.A.
But here's the thing. You're at OKC. You make some headway. You make it further. You exceed expectations.
Hero.
Now you're the hero. Along with the fact that you love the organization and you've grown fonder in relationship, personal, on and off the court with Russell Westbrook. Okay, so these decisions that players made, they think is impromptu. But years and years of being in this situation have put Paul George in a situation where he's made a decision that's best for him. Forget the Lakers. This is what's best for me right now based on A, B, C, and D, and that's why he chose to do it.
Jim Jackson, good having you. Rick Bucher later in the hour. Thanks, bud. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.